Today I chose to interview my mom, Kate Majors, the founder of Amazima Ministries, because she fits the definition of a leader to me. So, what part of your personal biography or background led you to this position?
From the time I was young, I was passionate about serving other people. And I think this is something that my parents even really encouraged me into, just serving others and taking care of them and using what I had to help others who had less. So even early on when I was young, I was in leadership positions at school, in different clubs and things like that. But I think really like just my passion for serving others. When we're passionate about something and that passion shows, I think other people want to come alongside of us and also join in and do what we're doing. And so that's led to my leadership of Amazima today.
What cultural identities or experiences are most salient for you?
I think for me, I really believe that a belief in Christ and his finished work on the cross can transcend all cultural barriers. And so, that's been really important for me living in a culture that is different than the one that I grew up in, living in a foreign culture. I think that it's really important when we enter into a new culture to kind of remove our Western mindset that says that we know better. I think growing up as someone very privileged in America, I was very much taught that all the answers were available to me. And while there is some truth in that, I think it's important in living in a different culture to take that mindset off and just really be someone who is a good listener, somebody who's a good learner, somebody who wants to ask questions and seek to understand how things are done in a different culture.
All right. The next question is, what experiences have most shaped you as a leader?
I think as a leader, it's probably the difficult experiences that shape us the most. I really have a hard time when people disagree with me. I want to be well liked by everybody. I don't like when a decision that I make as a leader is not considered the best decision by everyone on my team. But of course, in working with a large team of people, it's very rare that everybody wholeheartedly agrees. And so I think that I've just been shaped as a leader when I've had to make a difficult decision that not everyone on the team agrees with. And once I've made that decision, I've had to really stick with it and see it through. I think this gives us the opportunity to rely on my own wisdom that I believe God has given me and rely on the experience I have, and also just trust myself to make a good decision as a leader, even if not 100% of the staff are on board.
Yeah. And were you called into leadership or did you seek it because of held convictions?
I think for me, it was a little bit of both. I would almost say I kind of fell into leadership. Now, I think in my personality, I'm a bit of a natural leader. And like I said earlier, I was very passionate about helping people in my community. But in my specific role of leadership with Amazima, really, I just started helping the people around me, and other people wanted to join in. And then that's when that led me to found Amazima Ministries. And so in that way, I kind of just became a leader.
How have you learned from obstacles and challenges faced?
I think I've learned as we come up against obstacles and challenges that failure isn't really the end of the world. I always want to be successful, and I always want Amazima to succeed as an organization in everything we do. And so it's been a bit of a shift of mindset for me to look at obstacles and challenges as a way to grow and learn to do things better. It's not the end of the world if we fail. And just because we've run into a hurdle or something we do doesn't work doesn't necessarily mean it's a failure, as long as we can see it as that opportunity to grow and change and ultimately become better.
As a leader, how would you characterize your leadership style?
characterize my leadership style as kind of trying to be a part of the team. I don't think I lead in a way that is domineering or really telling other people exactly what to do, but I hope that I lead in a way that is really just being part of the team and encouraging others in their strengths.
And what does leadership mean to you?
To me, leadership means humility and just being willing to listen to those we are serving and working with. I think being a leader is being willing to forge new paths even when others are uncertain. As a leader, I think it's very important to uphold the values that are important to you and your organization, and to do that without wavering. And as a leader, when you can uphold certain values, I think other people on your team will follow suit.
Yeah. What are your professional strengths or weaknesses?
I think a strength of mine would be just being steadfast in what I believe to be right and in my values. And I think that part of my role is really to hold up those values for our team and really be unwavering in that. I think also that steadfastness helps in that when I commit to a task, I'm going to see it through to the end, even if it takes a really long time, or even if there are a lot of challenges and hurdles. I think one of my weaknesses is definitely just execution of ideas. I think I, in my position, get to have a lot of great ideas of how we could do things, but sometimes executing those ideas is very difficult. And because of that, I try really hard to surround myself with a team of people who are very good at executing the ideas that we have.
Yeah. What or who has been your greatest influence?
I think my greatest influence in life and in leadership are my parents. My dad is also a leader of a large company, and he just taught me how important it is just to have good and true character and to hold up values that other people, when other people can see your character, they believe in you and they believe in what you're doing. And he also taught me just the importance of being kind to everyone, no matter what. And I think because of his kindness towards others, he has become a very successful leader. And then my mom, I think my mom is really where I got my desire to serve others. I watched her lead a life of service and compassion. My mom is very good at honoring others and listening, and so they've both really impacted me as a leader and as a person.
Mm-hmm. Leaders help to turn ideas into actions and empower others. How do you accomplish this?
Yeah, I like that idea of empowering action in others. And I think a really key and important part of being a leader is seeing or noticing strengths in other people and encouraging them in their strengths. I think assigning tasks to people that will allow them to use their strengths and their creativity, and often maybe not giving a task with so many very specific steps. I think when we allow people on our team to do their assigned tasks in the way that they choose to do them, it really empowers their own creativity and they feel ownership of whatever job that they're doing. I think it's also just important to listen to the ideas of everyone on the team, regardless of whether they're technically the leader or not. I know that I have learned a ton by listening to other people that I work with and hearing their ideas, and that has really grown and shaped Amazima. I think some of Amazima's best programs have been the ideas of people on my staff, not necessarily me as a leader. And so I feel like my role as a leader then is to make sure when they have a great idea, to make sure that they have the resources and the things that they need to implement that program or idea. And I think this empowers them to problem solve and also allows them to take a lot of ownership in the organization and feel like it's theirs too, not just a job. This also allows for the organization to grow and change beyond me, which I think is really important. As a leader, we don't ever want it to be that our organization's success or failure relies solely on us, right?
Yeah.
Then if something happens to us, our organization will fail as well. But if we have other people with buy-in and with creativity and who are empowered to do their jobs, then the organization can grow and change far beyond us.
Yes. Do you feel it is important to delegate? If so, why, when, and how do you delegate?
Yeah, I definitely think delegation is of huge importance, and I didn't put so much value on it in the beginning of my journey as a leader. I really liked to kind of do everything myself, but I think when we want to do everything ourselves, we almost undervalue the people who we are working with, and they can start to feel like we don't believe in them or trust in their competency. Like I mentioned earlier, execution of my ideas is not always my strong suit. I'm not always able to see all the details, and so having people that I can delegate certain details to is very, very important to me, and I really seek to hire detail-oriented people who can help me with those things. So a lot of times, you ask when and how I delegate. I would say a lot of times, maybe it's my idea to do a specific training or a specific program, but coming up with the exact schedule for that, or planning in the lunches, or deciding how much we're going to budget for the lunches, little details like that are not really my strength. And so I would delegate those to someone who I know honestly will do a better job than me, but it also prevents me from feeling burnt out because all the responsibility is falling on my shoulders.
Yes. And how do you measure success, and how do you learn from failure?
That's a great question. Yeah, I think success, specifically because I'm the leader of a ministry, success can be kind of a funny idea, but I think I would measure success just by asking, are we doing better than we were before? Like I mentioned earlier, even failure is really an opportunity to learn, to grow, to change, and to do things differently. And so I think failures can even turn into successes if we use those as opportunity to do better next time.
Yeah, what are the 2 or 3 actions you believe are essential to enable others to be successful?
I think, as I've mentioned, just really listening to people. As a leader, I think I've even worked with leaders before who are not great listeners, and that creates an organization where everybody's just looking to the leader to make every decision and tell them exactly what to do. And I think in an organization like that, then everybody's just doing their job. But at Amazima, what we really want is for people to not just feel like it's a job, but to feel like this is what I want to do with my life. And so I think listening to people's ideas and allowing them to contribute builds trust. It makes people feel valued. It makes them feel like they have a say in what's going on within the ministry. And honestly, like I said earlier, we've come up with some of our best ideas just by myself and some others in leadership being willing to listen. I think also challenging people and their potentials. I think often people are just waiting for someone to see what they are good at and call them out in it and say, hey, you really are good at that. And so sometimes giving people tasks maybe that are challenging for them, that are a little more than what they're used to, but that go with what their skill set is, I think can really grow them so that they can also rise up in leadership as well. And I think trusting, I think the more we trust other people, the more that they are going to trust us. So trying to build trust as an organization in our staff and trusting the ideas of our staff is really important.
Yeah, what advice do you have for building relationships and trust in an organization like Amazima?
Yeah, I mean, that kind of goes back even to just that last question, right? Just good listening. Another thing that builds trust is when you, as the leader, are open to criticism or challenging. It's difficult for me when a staff comes and says, like, I don't think maybe we're doing this correctly, or I don't think, or maybe I see this thing in you that I think you really need to work on and change. But when we're open to criticism and people disagreeing with us and we can hear that, I think that really brings trust, and it can grow, it grows me as a leader as well. I think another thing that's really important is follow through. As leaders, like, we need to be people of our word. We need to be people who say that we're going to do something and we do that thing. And that doesn't mean that we never change our minds, but that means that we stick to what we're going to do even when it's hard.
Yeah, as a leader, what do you want your legacy to be in life?
I mean, I think the thing that is most important to me is just that people come to know Jesus and know that they are loved through the work that we're doing at Amazima and even through my own life. And I hope that that is a legacy that I impart on my entire staff, because I believe that long after I'm gone, they will continue to share the gospel with the families that we're serving.
All right, thank you for your time and for blessing everybody who will hear this. Yeah, today's interview was with Kate Majors.
Thank you.